My name is Sophia. I am 21 years old. Today I want to tell you about my family. Some people think happiness comes from money, or from living in a big house. But for me, happiness has always come from the people inside my home. My family is not perfect, but they are the reason my life feels full of meaning. I live in a small town where the streets are quiet and everyone knows each other. Our house is not large or fancy. It has 3 bedrooms, 1 bathroom, a kitchen, and a living room. When you step inside, you can smell fresh bread or soup, because my mother loves to cook. The living room has soft couches, family photos on the wall, and a small shelf filled with books. It is simple, but it feels safe. Let me introduce you to the people who make this house alive. My mother's name is Clara. She is 45 years old and works as a teacher at the local school. Every morning she wakes up before sunrise. I often hear her voice in the kitchen, softly singing while preparing breakfast. She loves to care for us, not only with food but with words. She is patient, gentle, and always ready to listen. One evening I asked her, "Mom, don't you ever get tired of doing so much?" She smiled and said, "I do get tired, Sophia. But when I see you smile, I forget my tiredness." That is what family is for. My father's name is Daniel. He is 47 years old and works as an accountant. He spends most of his day at the office, but when he comes home, the house feels different. He has a way of bringing lightness into the room. He is tall, with strong hands that once fixed my bike when I thought it was broken forever. He enjoys telling stories after dinner. Some are about his childhood. Others are funny tales he invents just to make us laugh. I remember one Saturday night when the power went out. We all sat in the dark with candles on the table. I felt a little scared, but my father started a story about a brave girl who saved her village from a storm. He acted out the voices, and we laughed until our sides hurt. The darkness didn't feel scary anymore. I also have a younger brother, Liam. He is 15 years old. He has endless energy and sometimes drives everyone crazy with his constant questions. He loves football and spends hours kicking the ball in the backyard. He often runs to me with shining eyes and says, "Sophia, did you see that goal? I'm going to be a champion one day." I laugh and cheer for him, even when the ball hits the fence more than the net. My sister Emma is 12 years old. She is quieter than Liam, but she has a curious mind. She likes drawing and fills her notebooks with pictures of flowers, trees, and sometimes our family. Once she drew a picture of all of us sitting around the dinner table. Above it she wrote, "My home, my world." That picture is still pinned on the fridge. Life in our home follows a rhythm. In the morning my father leaves for work, my mother heads to school, and my siblings get ready for their classes. I help with breakfast when I can. There is the sound of plates, the smell of toast, and the rush of everyone trying not to be late. It is noisy, but it is the kind of noise that feels alive. In the evenings, things slow down. After homework, we gather at the table for dinner. My mother always asks, "How was your day?" Sometimes Liam answers with excitement about football practice. Sometimes Emma talks about a book she read. My father often shares something funny from his office. I usually tell them about my classes or the people I met. These conversations make the food taste even better. On weekends we spend more time together. Sometimes we go to the park with a picnic basket. My father lies on the grass and closes his eyes while my mother watches us play. Liam chases the ball, Emma picks flowers, and I sit with a book, listening to the laughter around me. At other times we go on small trips. Last summer we visited a nearby lake. The water was cold, but we swam and shouted with joy. On the way home, wet and tired, we sang songs in the car. But our life is not only about fun. There are quiet moments too. At night, before sleeping, my mother sometimes sits with me. She tells me about her childhood, about how she dreamed of becoming a teacher, and how hard she worked to achieve it. Her words are not just stories. They are lessons. "Work hard, but never forget to be kind," she once told me. Success without kindness is empty. I keep those words close to my heart. Even small things make our house special. In winter, when the snow falls, we sit near the heater drinking hot tea. In summer, we open the windows and let the warm breeze carry in the smell of flowers from the garden. Our house is not rich in gold or silver, but it is rich in memories. Sometimes I watch my parents together. After dinner, when the dishes are done, they sit side by side talking softly. My father makes jokes, and my mother laughs, shaking her head. I see the way they look at each other with respect and quiet love. It teaches me more about family than any book ever could. One night, while helping Emma with her homework, she looked up and asked, "Sophia, do you think our family is different from others?" I thought for a moment and said, "Every family is different. Some have more, some have less. But what makes us special is how we care for each other." She smiled, nodded, and went back to her writing. As I look back on these years, I realize how much my family has shaped me. They taught me the meaning of responsibility, kindness, and joy. They showed me that home is not just walls and a roof. It is the people who wait for you, the hands that hold you when you fall, and the voices that cheer for you when you succeed. Chapter 1 of my story ends here, with a picture of my family around the dinner table, laughing at something silly Liam said. It is a simple moment, yet to me it is everything. Every family carries stories that are not spoken every day. My family was no different. I grew up in a home filled with warmth, yet even the warmest house has shadows. When I was younger, I believed everything in my family was perfect. But growing older meant hearing words I wasn't meant to hear, noticing things I wasn't meant to notice, and realizing that love doesn't mean the absence of problems. It began one late afternoon when the kitchen smelled of baked bread. I was sitting at the table drawing with Emma, while Liam kicked a ball outside. My mother was speaking quietly on the phone. I wasn't paying attention until I heard her voice drop, low and tired. "We'll manage somehow," she said. "Daniel works hard, but the bills." "Yes, I know. We don't want the children to worry." Her words slipped into my ears like cold air. Bills. Worry. These were things I had never thought about. To me, money was just paper my father took from his wallet when we needed something. I glanced at my mother. Her face looked calm, but I noticed the crease between her eyebrows. That night at dinner I asked casually, "Mom, are we okay? You sounded worried earlier." My mother's fork paused in her hand. My father looked at her, then at me. For a moment, silence pressed on us like a heavy blanket. Finally, my father cleared his throat. "We're fine, Sophia," he said. "Sometimes adults talk about responsibilities. That's all." But I wasn't convinced. His smile was quick, not the usual easy one. I wanted to ask more, but I didn't. Instead, I felt a small crack open inside me, the kind of crack that makes you see things differently. The next day, I noticed my father counting receipts at the table long after we had gone to bed. I noticed my mother cutting coupons from the newspaper. They never complained, but I could see the quiet weight they carried. I spoke about it with Liam when we walked to school. "Do you think Mom and Dad are hiding something?" "Yes." He shrugged, kicking a stone along the road. "Parents always worry. I don't care as long as I get to play football." Typical Liam. He could live in the middle of a storm and still only think about his game. But Emma, when I asked her, looked troubled. "I heard them too," she whispered. "Last week Mom said we should save more. I thought maybe we were poor." The word poor clung to me all day. I had never thought of us that way. We had food, clothes, books. But now, when I looked around, I saw things differently. Our house was small. My father's car was old. Our clothes weren't new. They were carefully washed and mended. That evening, I sat with my parents in the living room. The television was on, but I barely heard it. I turned to them and asked, "Why didn't you tell us the truth? If things are difficult, we should know." My mother sighed, resting her knitting on her lap. "Because you are children, Sophia. Childhood should not be full of worries. We wanted you to study, play, and grow without fear." "But I'm not a child anymore," I said. My voice trembled more than I wanted. "I can help. I can work after classes, or I can stop buying things I don't need." My father reached for my hand. His palm felt warm and steady. "We admire your heart, but you are already helping by studying hard. That is your job. Our job is to carry the burden for now. His words didn't erase the worry, but they did plant something else inside me, a deeper respect. I realized my parents were not superheroes. They were human, tired sometimes, struggling sometimes, but choosing every day to keep us safe. Around the same time, another challenge tested us. Liam, full of energy as always, broke the neighbor's window with his football. He came running home, pale and shaking. "Don't tell Dad," he begged me. "Please, Sophia. He'll be so angry." Of course my father found out that evening when the neighbor knocked on our door. I stood beside Liam as my father listened, his face stern. After paying for the damage, we sat at the table in silence. Finally my father spoke. "Liam, accidents happen. But running away from responsibility is worse than the broken window. What do you say to Mr. Harris tomorrow?" Liam lowered his head. "I'm sorry." "No," my father said firmly. "You will look him in the eyes and apologize. And you will help him in his garden for the next 2 weekends." Tears filled Liam's eyes, but he nodded. Watching this, I understood something important. Love was not only gentle. Sometimes it was strict. My parents weren't trying to punish Liam. They were teaching him how to stand tall even after mistakes. Later that night, Liam crept into my room. "Do you think Dad hates me?" he whispered. I shook my head. "No, Liam. If he didn't care, he wouldn't bother teaching you. Love isn't just hugs and games. It's also lessons." He thought about this, then sighed with relief. "I'll say sorry tomorrow." The next day he did. And though his voice shook, Mr. Harris smiled and patted his shoulder. Liam came home lighter, and I could see the lesson had stayed. Weeks passed, and the mood in our house slowly eased. My parents still worried about bills, but they shared small things with me now. My mother asked me to help with shopping lists. My father explained how he balanced numbers at work. These conversations didn't make me feel burdened. They made me feel trusted. One evening, as we cleared the table, my mother touched my shoulder. "Sophia, we are proud of how you care for your brother and sister. You are growing into someone we can lean on." Her words warmed me. In that moment, I understood the hidden beauty of challenges. They reveal strength you didn't know you had. They turn children into young adults. When I think about that season of my life, I don't remember fear as much as I remember growth. I saw my parents' humanity. I witnessed Liam learning responsibility, and I began to step into a new role within the family. Families are not perfect. Problems come, secrets slip out, mistakes happen. But what matters is how we face them together. My parents chose honesty and trust, even when it was hard. Liam chose courage after fear. And I chose to grow instead of turning away. That is the lesson chapter 2 leaves me with. Love is not fragile. It bends under weight, it stretches, but it holds. Time has a way of changing the way we see our own story. When I was younger, I thought family was only about play, comfort, and joy. Later, I learned it was also about worry, mistakes, and lessons. Now, as a young woman of 21, I understand that family is the strongest thread that weaves through every stage of life. Our home still looks the same. 3 bedrooms, 1 kitchen, 1 living room. The walls have not grown wider, but the love inside them has grown deeper. What has changed most is me. I am no longer just the child who receives care. I am now someone who gives it back. I see this shift every morning when I watch my mother. She still wakes early, but her steps are slower. She ties her apron with steady hands, though sometimes I notice a tremor when she pours tea. One morning I said, "Mom, let me make breakfast today." "You sit down." She smiled, a little surprised. "Sophia, you don't need to do everything." "I want to," I replied. "You've done it for years. Let me take care of you." So I fried eggs, buttered bread, and placed the plates on the table. My father came in, raised his eyebrows, and teased. "Looks like my daughter is practicing to be the head chef now." We laughed, but I could see relief in my mother's eyes. Small gestures had become my way of thanking her for all the mornings she never complained. My father, too, has changed. His hair is silver at the temples. his back slightly bent after years at the office. He still tells stories, but now they are often about lessons from work or advice for the future. One evening he sat across from me and said, "Sophia, life is not about avoiding problems. It's about facing them with courage. You saw us worry, but you also saw us stand firm. Remember that when your own storms come." I nodded, holding his words carefully. They were not just advice. They were part of my inheritance. My siblings are also growing. Liam is taller, his voice deeper, and he spends less time kicking balls against the fence and more time training with his school team. He came to me once, nervous. "What if I'm not good enough to play for the City League?" "You won't know until you try," I told him. "And even if you fail, you'll learn. That's what matters." He looked at me thoughtfully, then said, "You sound just like Dad." That made me smile. Emma, on the other hand, has filled her notebooks with drawings so beautiful they sometimes leave me speechless. One evening she showed me a picture of a tree with wide branches and deep roots. Underneath she wrote, "Family is the root. We are the branches. Do you like it?" she asked shyly. "I love it," I answered, hugging her. "It's not just a drawing. It's the truth." Moments like these remind me how much we shape each other. The family I once depended on is the family I now support. The circle has turned, and I feel proud to step into my place within it. But beyond daily routines and small gestures, there is something larger I have learned. It came to me slowly, like the dawn after a long night. Family is not measured by what you own but by what you share. It is not about perfection but about presence. It is choosing each other again and again, even when life is heavy. One rainy evening, I sat with my parents in the living room. The sound of drops against the windows filled the silence between us. My father looked thoughtful. "Do you ever wish we had more?" he asked suddenly. My mother shook her head. "We already have more than enough." He turned to me. "And you, Sophia? Do you ever wish for a bigger house, or richer parents, or something else?" I thought carefully before answering. "No. Because when I needed love, you gave it. When I needed safety, you created it. When I made mistakes, you forgave me. What could be bigger than that?" For a moment no one spoke. Then my mother leaned over, kissed my forehead and whispered, "You are our greatest treasure." That night, lying in bed, I felt the truth settle inside me. I was rich, not in gold but in love. Now, as I look to the future, I carry this truth with me. I want to build a life where kindness is stronger than wealth, where relationships matter more than possessions. I want to create a home that feels like ours does. Safe, forgiving, alive with laughter. I know challenges will come. Life never stays soft forever. But I have seen how my parents faced theirs, and I believe I can face mine. When fear whispers, I will remember my father's words. Courage is not the absence of problems, but the way we stand against them. When weariness comes, I will remember my mother's smile as she cooked even on her hardest days. When I doubt myself, I will remember Liam's determination and Emma's quiet wisdom. One Sunday afternoon, as we sat together after lunch, I told my family, "I want you to know something. If I ever build my own home, it will be built on what I learned here. Not bricks and wood, but love and care." My father raised his glass of water and said, "Then our story continues in you." My mother's eyes shone with tears, Emma grinned, and Liam clapped my back with a laugh. It was a simple moment, but it carried the weight of everything we had been through together. So here is the final lesson my family has given me. Blood connects us, but love defines us. Home is not the place you live in. It is the people who wait for you, worry for you, and cheer for you. Family is not about being perfect. It is about being present. As I finish this chapter of my story, I picture our small house on a quiet street, the warm light shining through the windows, and the sound of voices inside. That is my family. That is my treasure. And that is the story I will carry into every tomorrow.